Hello, it is Sunday, March 5th, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Sunday puzzle today, so a big, long grid, and I will hope to solve it in relatively efficient fashion. I'm in a hotel room just for today, and it's a fairly noisy environment, so this probably isn't the best audiovisual experience you've ever had on this channel, so we'll see if I can do this puzzle without wasting too much time. And this Sunday, potentially slightly noisy edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Kathleen Quinn, Lewis Williams, Camtron, and, as always, the invaluable Timothy Mark and the indomitable Schulmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in supporting this channel, bringing us this series and this particular video. Do very much appreciate it. And if you'd like to join their ranks as a benefactor, for instance, you can do that at patreon.com/dailysolve or in a link in the description field underneath the video, and get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And of course, if you become a patron at any level at all, well, you get those things. That's what you get. But I guess in addition, as a benefactor, you get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug. So did that in reverse order, but it worked out. So thank you to everybody who is a patron at any level. I do very much appreciate that. It keeps this whole thing going. And you can also join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. That's free to join. And please do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've not yet done so. Thank you to everybody who's done any of those things. I do appreciate it. So let's get on to the puzzle. This is the second crossword constructed by today's constructor, John Clark Levin. It's entitled As Heard Around the Dinner Table. I'm interested to know what that means. Maybe homophones or something. I'm wondering if the herd refers to something like that, but we'll have to see. The puzzle, of course, was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. So let's start solving, shall we? All right, a commuter's ticket. A rail pass or something, or a metro pass, commuter's ticket. Not sure. Tom Hanks movie featuring a giant piano. That's the film Big. He plays on a big piano. It might turn out to be a drone. A bee? Not sure. Barfly. Could be a sot, maybe? Somebody who frequents bars. Not sure if that's right. Commuter's ticket. Oh, a bus pass. There we go. That is it. So maybe that is sot. It might turn out to be a drone. Oh, a UFO, I see. You could see something that you think, that's an unidentified flying object, and then you identify it, and it's a drone. It's not coming to me. I forget. Yes, that happens often solving these crosswords, that's for sure. Blue diamond in Titanic, e.g. A prop, I guess? Was that the necklace that the woman had in Titanic, I think? Lab culture medium, agar, or agar, as it's amusingly also known. Star close to Venus. Oh, Serena. So Serena and Venus Williams. So they're both stars in the sense that they're tennis stars, and they're close as sisters. To take responsibility is to step up idiomatically. Is that right? Does this look okay? Oh, and I just realized, sorry, we've got these shaded cells, so they're spelling got. Okay, absolutely no idea what that's doing yet. But then the full clue is dine out, which is go to a restaurant. There we go. That was fairly straightforward and gave us plenty of letters. Sushi bar drink could be sake. You might drink sake at a sushi bar. And like many phone cards, you can have a prepaid phone card if you're, I don't know, traveling or something, or if that's just what you use. Band leader Shaw, so Artie Shaw was a classic jazz band leader, and this we've filled out through crosses. A powerful weapon for short is a nuke, a nuclear weapon. Share the blank, sign. Oh, share the road, I guess. Is that referring to making way for cyclists and so on, presumably? They take bows or bows. Which do I think this is? Obviously, they take bows is how you'd ordinarily read this, but you never know. It could be a punny one. Fort Collins School could be, is that in Florida? Maybe Florida State University? They take bows or bows. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I know where Fort Collins is. Blank Lost, 2022 #1 album by Drake and 21 Savage. I don't know, but based on that R, I would guess it would be her loss, presumably. They take bows. They take bows. Archers, right. I was thinking bows in a sort of, a ribbon tied into a bow, but no, it's a bow as in a bow and arrow. Archers. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure about Fort Collins still. Floral brew could be rose tea, maybe? And Cyber Monday merchant is an e-tailer. Here we go. It's been a while, actually, but it's return of the e-clues. So an e-tailer, an online retailer. Nobody uses this term, do they? I think people are more likely to say the extra syllables to say online retailer than they would to say e-tailer, to be honest. But in any case, that's the answer. Often mispunctuated word. The word it's is often mispunctuated. So in its possessive form, it does not have an apostrophe. And exams with a 400 to 1600 range, that's the SATs, I think it's had different names over the years. I think it's Standardized Achievement Test currently. And mall security guard, pejoratively, are sometimes referred to as rent-a-cops. Pop options, so pop referring to soda, and one variety of soft drink is a cola, like a Coca-Cola. Where you might go down in the ranks. Where you might go down in the ranks. Not sure what that's referring to. And bauxite or galena, those are metal ores, I suppose. And the ore, by the way, not ore the answer, but the ore, the word that separates bauxite and galena, means we're only referring to one or the other of these. So it's a singular clue, not a plural clue. I like to point that out because it's not necessarily obvious, I don't think, if you haven't thought about it. Blackhead remover. Pore, blackhead, little sort of in your pores. So pore cleanser? Is that? Yeah, that could be it. And a lefty is a lib, I suppose, and at least in U.S. context, a liberal. And politically, and then network supported by viewers like you would be PBS. And things usually, which is in the United States, the public broadcasting system. Things usually made in the morning. Teas? Are teas usually made in the morning? Is this something else, maybe? Oh, beds. No, it's not teas, it's beds. There we go. You make the bed in the morning. That is usually the case. Firefly, e.g., is a bug, not sure. Command for creating a revised draft. Copy or something? Soup serving dish is I'm not seeing that either. Interfacers with publishers are editors or no, agents. Your agent might get you in touch with a publisher, I suppose, if you're in that position. Layer between the crust and the core is the mantle of the earth, I would think, and a need for a tough crossword, perhaps. A dictionary or a thesaurus or... I'm not sure. If a film is G-rated, say, it's likely to be tame and not have very much, violence or what have you. Quintessential ingredient to borrow from a neighbor could be sugar. You pop over for a cup of sugar. And a competitive setting in Fortnite, which is, so it's a computer game, but I haven't actually played it. Competitive setting in Fortnite. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Oh, an eraser could be a need for a tough crossword. Right, okay, yes. I do, New York Times crossword I solve exclusively digitally, but I do solve the listener crossword on paper because that's the only way to solve it. There is no digital version of it. And in fact, where I've been last night was at the annual listener dinner. So this is appropriately the one crossword I solve with a pencil and eraser. Competitive setting in Fortnite. Right. Oh, is it an arena, maybe? A setting in the sense of where it takes place? Oh, and a soup-serving dish is a tureen. There we go. If one lets it all out, say one vents, one spills their guts, I guess. And command for creating a revised draft. Oh, save as. Right, save as opposed to save. You're making a new copy of it when you do that. And firefly, I see. A firefly is a sort of beetle, I guess. I don't know that I knew that. I maybe did at one point in my life. They can make a huge impact. Asteroids can do that. And where you might go down in the ranks, oh, I see, a cot in the ranks, meaning in the military, and you might go down, you might go to sleep on a cot. Mad ad. So MAD is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So one of their ads might be a PSA, a public service announcement. And movie character who said, I love you to 110 across. I'm guessing in 4 letters with an A. This is Princess Leia character from Star Wars speaking to Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back. Oh, right, yes. And then here we have movie character who replied, I know, to 43 across. So there we go. That was indeed the answer. Apple wireless file transfer. It's AirDrop, is it? I think it's AirDrop, the Apple wireless file transfer. And if one is ill-humored, one is... I'm not sure. Oops. Sorry, I'm getting error messages. Hopefully you're not seeing those. Okay, I think it's fine. Is the audio still working? Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay, it looks like everything's fine. Paris bartender. Oh, euros? Tender meaning legal tender currency. So there we go. And if you're ill-humored, you're in a sour mood. There we go. If you do nothing, you loaf, perhaps. And if one turned red, say one, or maybe a fruit or something turned red. I'm not sure for some, I don't know. Attractions for antique hunters are yard sales. Maybe you could pick up, oh, right, not antique hunters, not hunters who are antique, but hunters of antiques. All right. Turned red, say. Really don't see what this, maybe this isn't maybe this isn't sour, but rather dour. So that's another way to be in ill humor. And yes, then turned red is dyed. You dyed something a different color, in this case, red. Oh, and I forgot to be looking at these shaded cells. Are these, so what is this porec? What on earth is that? Maybe these will connect to it in some way. Aid in some makeshift repairs. Duct tape? Got, duck, porec? Okay, something's going on that I just doesn't mean anything to me yet. Wax-coated cheese, Edam cheese has wax coating. And Aurora to the Greeks is Eos. So Aurora, I guess Aurora was the Roman version of Eos, and Eos is the dawn, god of the dawn, goddess of the dawn, I should say. Like words this clue the in. They're out of order, I suppose. They're in... That's clever. The words are misordered in this clue. Like, where's this clue the in? Easily frightened sort is a scaredy cat? Does that fit? It does. Okay. And company that created Pong is Atari. For, with that apostrophe, means, before, until something happens, or then until similarly contracted is till. And a spongy mushroom is a morel mushroom. And what's sort of in the sense of being hot or the kind of popular thing is a trend. A bog is a fen, a marsh. And meet the press host Chuck Todd from U.S. political television. And that's a sort of weekly political interview show. And then if something's ironically funny, it's wry. Sort of dry, sardonic humor. And then packaging string could be twine. Could wrap something up with twine. And something checked at a TSA checkpoint is an ID card. Oops. Cool, neato, you might say. And those words sort of match in tone. Cool, neato, you might hear the same person say them in the same sort of context. Made a fast stop. 8? What is that? Not sure I see that. Famed deco designers. Erte was an Art Deco, notable designer. Why? So why is this 8. Made a fast stop. Oh, I see, because you stopped your fast. You stopped fasting and you ate. I see, very clever. And of course, the question mark there indicates the punnery or the wordplay. So what's going on here? As heard around the dinner table. Got, duck, pork. Oh, pork, duck. So those are meats. What's got? Goat, got? What am I missing? Sorry. But duck and pork are, those are, I was right, I suppose, with the homophone thing, at least for these. Why do I not see what got is? Sorry, it's probably infuriatingly obvious to people watching. Dude, bro, you might say. And then part of many a weight loss ad. Oh, before and after? No, before, after, no. Before, does that not fit? Part of many a weight loss ad. A before picture? There we go, that must be it. And they're not yet dealing with the after ones. Actress Ward's cell award comes up in the puzzle all the time. And one's crib, one's home, one's pad. There we go. And like an allegro tempo. So allegro is fast. It's rapid. Oops, spelled pad incorrectly. That was strange. So yes, allegro is a fast tempo in music. So rapid. And then cool could be rad, I suppose. And subjects of VH1's I Love the Blank series. Those are various decades. So I love the 70s, I love the 80s, I love the 90s, etc. Okay, if one landed, one alit. You touched down in a plane, or maybe a bird did. And 1 versus 52 is solitaire? Oh, I see, yes. One person sort of playing against, I guess, a deck of cards. 52 cards in a deck, I suppose is what that's sort of getting at in another punny manner with the question mark indicator there. Many teens' rooms to parents. Their sties, pigsties, as they're often referred. Or to which they're often referred. And then large coffee vessels are urns. There we go, vessels for drinks and not food, as I strangely said a few weeks ago. A bad impression could be a dent. So an impression in one's car, for instance, would be a bad one, a dent. Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Stevens looks like Brett there. Is that right? Donnybrook. Sorry. So Donnybrook is a brawl. So Donnybrooks are brawls, sort of melees, physical confrontations involving usually several people. And 4 is before, so ere in a poetic sense. Before this happens, ere this occurs. And to act theatrically is to emote, to really show your emotions overtly. A Reddit Q&A is AMA for Ask Me Anything, which takes place on the website Reddit. And literary character who cries, I am madness maddened. This is, I would bet, Ahab from Moby Dick, but let's check the crosses to be sure. The nerve. How rude, or how... I'm not sure. Finally, at long last, maybe? Yes, that does fit. And if one's under siege, one is beset by enemies or attacks or something. A buck chaser could be a doe. And the nerve. Oh, how dare she, or you, maybe? How dare you, probably? Yes, tribe native to the Great Basin would be the Utes tribe, which has come up a number of times recently, actually, in various forms. And pot grower, question mark. So what's the question mark doing there? Some sort of pun. Not sure. Train that stops in New Haven and New York. That's the Acela, which is the East Coast, ostensibly high-speed train that goes up and down the northeast corridor of the U.S. And a tiny bit of work could be an erg, a small unit of work in physics. And previously on segment, a recap of a television program or something. And then here we have go on and on is to rant. So there we go. Yucatan native would be a Mayan. And pot, oh, I see, an ante. So a pot in the sense of In a gambling context, the pot, the money that will be won by the winner. So the ante, you grow the pot, you grow the ante. Very good. Or you sort of ante in and then grow the pot. All right, so landmark at the entrance to Narnia. Boy, I don't know. I mean, I read that first book when I was a child. I don't remember what would have. I mean, there was the wardrobe that they take to get to Narnia, and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I don't remember what was on the other side. A lamppost, presumably. I don't know if there's another sort of post here, but that's certainly what it looks like. What goes up to 11 in This Is Spinal Tap famously is Nigel Tufnell's amp, which goes to 11. And then that was a lamppost. I probably didn't need to. That was probably more obvious if I had actually just looked at the fill more quickly. Robin Hood's Love is Maid Marian, of course. And Franklin, who sang R-E-S-P-E-C-T, is Aretha Franklin. And I think, wasn't this clued the other way recently? Maybe it was in one of the acrostics that I saw. I can't even remember if it's one I posted yet or not, but yeah, it was clued in the other direction, and the song that was spelled out in whatever year it was released. They can be passed but not failed. Laps? You passed laps or something? Not sure. Bareilles, who sang Love Song. So another person I sort of know the name. Don't know that maybe I've heard the song, but in any case, Sarah Bareilles I've heard of. And maybe there's still laps that can be passed but not failed. On the Wagon. So this presumably refers to sobriety. People refer to falling off the wagon as sort of, losing their kind of streak of sobriety. So there's that. And then if one crouched in terror, one cowered. A sign of neglect could be dust, classically. And gray matter, not brain cells, because the question mark indicates some sort of other pun. Not sure. Virgil described its cloud of pitch black whirling smoke. Etna, Mount Etna, presumably, the volcano. Would make sense from Virgil. And what is this? Anatomy? Doesn't seem right. Maybe it is. Yes, Gray's Anatomy, the famous textbook. And then there was a show sort of named after it, I guess. Okay, so Gray's Anatomy. And then if something's excessively the case, it's too much the case. And Boston's Liberty Tree for one. And it must be an elm tree. And then kind of sauce for dim sum, soy sauce. You might serve with dim sum. And here's our revealer. Vegetarian options, or what the shaded letters in this puzzle are, phonetically. Are they meat substitutes? So is this goat actually, after all? Because it's go to a restaurant. So we're meant to read it that way. Is that what's going on there? Is that what these are? Meat substitutes? I think they are. Okay, yes. And then this is lamb. This is beef, right? And much like the goat, we're meant to read this beef because in context it's before picture. So, right, often with this sort of thing in the crossword where we're recontextualizing strings of letters, often we're meant to pronounce them in different ways. But in this case, we actually refer to them, we pronounce them in exactly the same way they are in their sort of container. So, goat, duck, pork, beef, lamb, and something else yet to be found. All right, let's finish it off. So veggie that's often pickled, a cucumber, or cuke, I guess, is a cuke and a cucumber a different thing, or is one just a name for the other? I guess a cuke is just a cucumber, and veggie is what's indicating that it has been contracted. To flatten something is to pancake it. And, right, Sam Bankman-Fried, fallen crypto mogul, famously of, FTX, the crypto exchange that went completely bankrupt recently. Channel that airs old MGM and RKO films. TCM, Turner Classic Movies, shows old films. And The Clink is the Slammer, a prison. And Little Mischief Makers are imps, devilish children. An agency impersonated in some scam calls. The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, is often imitated in scam calls. Something's otherworldly, it's unreal or ethereal, maybe? Is ethereal otherworldly necessarily? I suppose so, in a way. And yeah, that looks right, because online handicrafts marketplace is Etsy. And if one does well on a test, say one gets an A, there we go. A wild donkey is an ass. Fellow is a guy? A fellow? A guy? Not sure. Let's check the crosses. They often don't mature until they turn 30. Oh, mortgages. Your mortgage could mature. If you have a 30-year mortgage, that could be the sort of, the maturation term. So that was right. So I guess Guy was probably correct. Minority in New Zealand's parliament. Minority in New Zealand's parliament. What does that mean? An aftermath of a toddler's meal could be a mess. Oh, men. Is it that it's a majority woman parliament at the moment? Oh, that's clever. That's really interesting. So, lie out on a scorching day. Well, it'll be something the sun. Is it soak up the sun or something? It doesn't sound like a meat. Coming face to face with yourself, per Jackson Pollock. That sounds like a decent description of art. So there we go. And Whitman of Parenthood. Not sure, actually. May Whitman? That sounds like somebody. Is that somebody? Yes, the kissing disease is mono. It's known as the kissing disease because it's often transmitted through kissing. And skinflints are misers, people who don't like spending much money. Lie out on a scorching day to bask in the sun. Bask in. What am I missing here? Sorry. Something obvious, seemingly. All right. Yeah, but still, even so. Now, does that give me anything in the downs? Along, beside, bask in. Many a monopoly property. Not sure. Oh, an avenue. Oh, bake in the sun. Bacon. There we go. Sorry if you were way ahead of me on that one. But there we go. Finally got it. And an earpiece, question mark, is not sure. Marx is co-author for the Communist Manifesto. So Marx and Engels famously authored the Communist Manifesto. And a suit fabric could be what? Oh, is it serge? Probably mispronouncing that. Earpiece. I'll leave it for now until I see what's going on. Private could be one's private life, one's inner life, for instance. And the Three Musketeers action scenes are duels, sort of sword fights. And they may be long and shocking. So an electric eel may be long and shocking. So eels. And earpiece. A kernel of corn from an ear of corn. And so this was indeed an R. And is that the puzzle? Yes, there it goes. All right. I'm not sure if the sound came through on that, but that was the Sunday crossword. There we go, as heard around the dinner table by John Clark Levin. So indeed, as I suspected when we saw heard up in the title, it was about themed around homophones. So as the revealer explains, these are vegetarian options, or what the shaded letters in this puzzle are phonetically. They are meat substitute. So we had goat, which I was convinced was got for quite some time, but goat, duck, pork, beef, bacon, and lamb. Very clever. And I suppose John Clark Levin, our constructor, kept himself honest by restricting himself to the beginning of each of these clues. So he wasn't able to just sort of find these syllables anywhere in any collection of words. He gave himself this restriction just to sort of keep the whole thing, I guess, a bit more elegant and consistent. So there we go. And a nice bit of grid art. I don't know if that's meant to suggest a sort of, a round fillet or something, but it's a nice looking grid. And a very open sort of, lots of long answers throughout the grid, actually. But there we go. That was the Sunday puzzle. I'm going to, it always takes longer to get this out the door on a laptop, so I'm going to get right onto that immediately without using any more time. But I hope you enjoyed today's edition. Hope the audio is all right. I'll be back tomorrow in my normal recording environment for the Monday edition of the Crossword. A nice, easy, early week themed puzzle. So join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.